We've got record job vacancies rising to over 1.2 million. People should be finding a way in which we can actually have economic migration in order to fill the jobs which are currently unfilled.
Well, we're joined now by journalist Larry Turner, who says we need to start paying British people more to fill those labour shortages, and Syrian refugee and BAFTA award-winning documentary filmmaker Hassan Akkad, who says it's British people who don't want those jobs. Very good morning to you both. Hassan, just remind us the way that you got here. I mean, you were in a boat for part of your journey, weren't you?
Yes, on a boat, and then I was in Calais and I tried in dozens of lorries to get in. It didn't work, so then I got a fake passport and I flew in and claimed asylum. So
you were, before you claimed an asylum, you were an illegal... You were doing an illegal route to get here on a fake passport, weren't you? Okay. You're one of the people who's demonised, effectively.
I was one of the people who demonised, but so can I just clarify something? There's no such thing as illegal migrants, because according to international law, it is perfectly legal to cross a border and claim asylum. This is international law. This is not my opinion. There is something called irregular. So I was an irregular migrant.
And then you ended up working, I mean, you are a journalist, but you ended up working in the NHS.
Yeah. All sorts of jobs.
Yeah. And do you, I mean, we spoke to you a lot during COVID, pandemic, the lockdown. You did a remarkable job.
I was working in a COVID ward in Whipps Cross Hospital in East London with 18 people who were all born outside of Great Britain.
And you were cleaning?
I was cleaning, yeah.
And do you think that you were doing that work because British people didn't want to do it?
OK, so there is something about... So, as you said in your introduction, there are 1.2 million job vacancies currently. The social care is a shortage of 1.5 thousand workers, 40,000 in supermarkets, and there are 40,000 in HGV drivers. There is a shortage of drivers, a shortage of workers in every industry, and it's a combination of, you know, as you said, that British workers should be paid more to get these jobs, because there are these hurdles. If they had more support with childcare, they would have taken these jobs. And also, we have to accept that we are relying on immigrants on a lot of jobs. We've seen in the summer, there was chaos in Heathrow because we didn't have enough people to handle...
We don't... Look, we can all agree we don't have enough workers, Larry.
Well, I think we don't pay people well enough. I mean, one of the points of Brexit, and I voted for Brexit, as did many other people, was that having an endless supply of people coming into the country willing to work for low wages was holding wages down, not just in the NHS, but in the private sector. And so the great hope, certainly for me, was that when there wasn't this pool of workers, that actually employers, including the government, would recognise that you have to pay people enough so they can live. Now, the idea that British people are lazy and can't be bothered to do this work is incredibly unfair.
So why is it not working?
Because if I'm on universal credit, I'm not going to go and pick fruit for 6 months because I then have trouble getting back onto the system. I put myself in financial jeopardy, particularly if I've got children. If I'm going to work for minimum wage and I live, let's say, in London, and I'm not in social housing, how on earth on minimum wage am I going to be able to pay rent? Plus, you've also got school holidays, you've got children. This is supposed to be a recalibration of what kind of country we are. The last 15, 20 years of massive migration into this country has created a situation where people at the bottom are massively underpaid.
Brexit was 6 years ago.
Yes, it was.
But we voted for Brexit. Why haven't they sorted it out?
Well, I agree. I think the government's an absolute shambles. But we have to remember that...
OK, fine.
6 million people applied for settled status. And we've apparently approved 5 million. That's a massive increase in the number of people in this country. That increases more demand for everything. And the whole problem gets worse and worse. We need to think about British people providing jobs that pay them enough to live. And I think that I feel for the people of Kent at the moment, because they're bearing the brunt also of all the kind of, if they're not demonstrations, I mean, it's just a horrendous situation.
I think the people in Kent are getting more jobs. But I think this is benefiting Kent. No,
I think some people in Kent are actually frightened.
There are some people who are frightened, but there are also lots of people who are getting jobs because of migration.
I think
security workers, social care workers, a lot of people are getting jobs as a result of what's happening. And we have to accept people coming here, get these jobs, and they also pay taxes and contribute to the economy.
They also claim housing benefit, and they have to have their children educated. And when you're a person who can't get an appointment to a doctor's surgery, for example, and then you see thousands of people coming in, understandably, you're concerned. And I think people have a right
Unless
to
you
be
thought those
concerned.
thousands of people were going to work in the NHS
If they applied for a visa and they were a critical care nurse or they were a heart surgeon, fantastic. But the Albanians getting off those boats are not. They're going to pick up a shovel and
So
they're
was
going to
Hassan
work.
wrong to come?
I think it was wrong morally, but I understand he's from Syria. He's not from Albania. He didn't come from a safe country.
But I don't think we should paint all Albanians with the same brush as well, because not every Albanian...
It's a safe country. It's a safe country.
It is a safe country.
And the young men coming here, on the whole, are coming here to work, and I understand why they're doing that.
Absolutely.
But they're depressing the wages of everybody else.
If you let me speak, please.
Yeah.
I think, just as we have a program for people to come from Hong Kong, and close to 100,000 people have applied for visas to come from Hong Kong, and no one had a debate about it. No one was concerned about it. You know,
they are in jeopardy
I think we should also have same schemes for other people, for other nationalities to come and work here legally.
Okay.
I am completely against people taking boats across the channel. I think it's dangerous. I think it's costing lives. But I think we should have safe and legal rules for people to come in.
Thank you, Hassan.